Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the President, the conference organizer, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to our virtual conference. We're delighted to have participants joining us from different parts of the world, and I have no doubt that today's discussions will be both engaging and inspiring. Now we're going to start this virtual session, Early Education, Inclusion, and Holistic Development. And it is my great pleasure to introduce our first speaker, the keynote speaker, Professor Sanja Taslovic from Croatia, who honorably accepted our invitation to be here today. And welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your kind invitation. It's my pleasure and honor to be here with you. So I will start sharing the screen here. Okay. So thank you very much again for this kind invitation. I'm very sorry not to be in UK with all of you, but I believe that I can transfer all my experience and research project results with you in this online mode. So this work is about structural and collaborative mechanisms that we determined in the research are shaping children's transition and adjustment in kindergarten. And starting from the beginning, just to put a few words about the meaning, actually, the definition of childhood transitions. We all experience, and you will see later on within our previous research results, that actually there are very dynamic and intense periods. It is very much important at the end that the responsibility of the educational system representatives, but of course all of us as from this side of academics, from the my side of Faculty of Teacher Education here in Rijeka, University of Rijeka in Croatia, and my colleagues and also practitioners, our responsibility is to ensure the highest level of children's well-being during these very sensitive periods. So thank you very much for your attention. I will stop sharing the screen. I hope I'm within the time, so maybe we have time for questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, dear Sonia, for your insightful presentation. So now we're expecting question or comments, if there is any.
Thank you, Professor Sancha, if I pronounce your name well. And
yes, okay.
I'm Dr. Yana Salaya from the state of New Jersey, United States, and it's 3 a.m. here, but I'm still standing still.
Okay.
So, and I can't, and thank you so much for your informative and detail-oriented presentation. This is amazing, and this shows your in-depth experience in research and teaching. And
thank you very much for your comment.
I can't thank you enough for talking about collaborative mechanism, which coincidentally that it's going to take me to talk about my topic also is going to be something related to collaborative mechanism, and it is an parental involvement through collaborative educational policy and leadership I will be talking about. So I can agree enough with your assertion that the collaboration, without collaboration, education cannot stand on its own. So we need to collaborate with community, schools, community teachers, and the stakeholders. Thank you for for your great presentation. And the take-home message for me is that the collaborative efforts can only take you to improve our education system. That's my comment before I begin my presentation.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. I cannot agree more with you. So as you can see, also this actually confirms the fact that within the survey we had so much items related with collaborative mechanisms, because they are dominantly very much important with this total quality of educational process. So thank you very much on your comment. Thank you.
Keep up your great job, Professor. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. I'm looking forward to hear your presentation. Yeah.
Okay, moving forward, our next speaker is Dr. Genano Serhan Celia from United States with the topic of speech encouraging parental involvement through collaborative educational policy and leadership. Hello and welcome.
Thank you so much for everyone, and thank you for joining this presentation. And once again, I am Dr. Gnanasegaran Selaya from the state of New Jersey, East Coast, in the United States of America. And good morning, everyone. And in my presentation today, I will be discussing how collaborative educational policy and leadership can encourage meaningful parental involvement in children's education. There's much about the parental involvement, and through collaborative efforts, it also further explores the critical bridges we must build between families, schools, and communities to truly unlock every student's potential through strategic engagement and shared responsibility. I look forward to hearing your feedback and comments at the end. I hope everybody can see my slides.
Yes, it's visible and we're all ears.
Okay, thank you. So my presentation is pretty much building, again, encouraging parental involvement through collaborative educational policy and leadership, and building bridges between families, schools, and communities to unlock students' potential through strategic engagement and shared responsibility. Now, why parental involvement matters? The evidence for parental involvement is overwhelming. So let me begin with the compelling research evidence that I came across while doing my own research. According to a researcher, John Hattie's comprehensive meta-analysis, parental engagement produces a 0.50 effect size on students' achievement. That is actually more powerful than tutoring or study skills intervention. Recent findings from another researcher, Annie E. Casey Foundation, show that students with involved parents consistently achieve higher grades, maintain better attendance, exhibit improved behavior, and develop stronger social skills. What is particularly striking is the ripple effect. Parental involvement doesn't just benefit individual families, it elevates the entire school communities and creates an environment where all students can thrive. Leadership imperative. Now, the effective family engagement requires intentional leadership. It doesn't happen by accident. The researcher Dr. Susan Oberg's groundbreaking research reveals 3 essential leadership practices. First, proactive initiation. A successful leaders personally create engagement systems rather than simply delegating this task. Second, they adopt a social justice lens, viewing family engagement as an ethical imperative to close opportunity gaps for underserved community. Third, they prioritize building trust. For example, New Mexico's community schools use teacher advisors as consistent parents' contacts, creating reliable, lasting relationship that form the foundation for meaningful engagement. The policy as a catalyst. Policy creates the essential foundation for meaningful family engagement. State education agencies must provide resources, funding, and evidence-based guidance to districts. Without clear policy directives and support structures, engagement efforts remain fragmented and inconsistent. Effective policies mandate regular data collection on family needs and engagement levels, disaggregated by demographics, enabling schools to tailor approaches to diverse population. Crucially, local education agencies must develop family engagement policies in genuine consultation with parents, ensuring accessibility for all communities regardless of language, culture, or socio-economic status. Breaking down barriers, so we need to break that barriers. Traditional approaches like parents-teacher conferences, which happens often in my school, I encounter these issues, it never been successful for me. So the traditional approach like parent-teacher conferences and back-to-school nights often fail to reach the families who need connection the most. Common barriers such as childcare challenges, transportation limitations, inflexible work schedules of parents, and feelings of being unwelcome prevent meaningful participation. Home visit, now the remedy could be home visits bring conversation to families' comfortable spaces. So I strongly advise that the teachers have to go to children's home when and where possible. Multilingual communication ensures full understanding. Flexible virtual meetings accommodate work schedules. Now again, example from New Mexico's advisory systems exemplifies immediate connection by notifying parents instantly about attendance issues and connecting them with necessary support. Culturally responsive engagement, honoring language and experience. The true engagement requires more than translation services. It demands that schools honor and integrate the language, culture, history, and life experiences of all families into their engagement strategies and curricula. So the fundamental work is that we need to change our curricula to involve this parental to bring this parental active participation. When families see themselves reflected in school practices and their cultural assets are recognized as strength, they develop a sense of belonging that dramatically increases participation. This reciprocal approach transforms the traditional power dynamic. Rather than expecting families to adapt to school culture, school adapt to embrace family cultures, creating authentic partnerships where diverse perspectives are valued as important aspect. Collaborative leadership in action, building dual capacity. The most effective family engagement models recognize that both schools and families must develop capacity for meaningful partnership. This dual capacity approach has three components. First, school capacity. Training educators in family engagement, best practices, and cultural competence. Second, shared responsibility. Co-creating policies and programs with families for authentic collaboration. Third, family leadership. Empowering parents as partners and leaders in school decision making. The Every Student Succeed Act, Title I guidance from the United States. It was introduced in 2015 by the federal government of the United States. They introduced Every Student Succeed Act Title I guidance emphasizes this collaborative approach, requiring schools to develop policies in genuine partnership with families, fundamentally transforming the relationship between schools and the communities. Now, we highly depend on the data-driven family engagement. The schools always depends on the data. So I'm a data guy. I always depends on the data. So evidence-based measurement drives improvement. States and districts should utilize validated instruments like the University of Chicago 5 Essential Survey and Panorama education tools to assess the quality of family-school relationship. These instruments provide reliable data on trust, communication effectiveness, and engagement quality. Public reporting promotes transparency and accountability, allowing communities to track progress over time. DC Public Schools exemplifies this approach using comprehensive family surveys to set specific goals and improve school climate, social emotional learning supports, and family partnership quality. When data reveals gaps, schools can respond with targeted intervention rather than generic solution. Again, I want to emphasize that we must rely on the data to improve our education system. The transformative impact from policy to practice. Schools with robust family partnership see 25% reduction in chronic absenteeism, 40% achievement gains, particularly among historically underserved population, and 60% enhancement in students' social, emotional development and school connected. Most importantly, parental involvement serves as a powerful lever for education equity. When schools intentionally engage families from underserved communities, they help close opportunity gaps that perpetuate inequality, creating inclusive, thriving school communities where every student has the support they need to succeed. Call to action. The path forward requires commitment from all stakeholders, communities, schools, teachers, parents. Educational leaders must champion family engagement not as an add-on or compliance requirements, but as a core strategy for achieving both equity and excellence in students' outcome. Policymakers, on the other hand, must allocate resources and mandate inclusive, culturally responsive engagement practices. Schools and families must build authentic partnership through shared leadership and mutual accountability. The question is not whether we can afford to prioritize family engagement. It is whether we can afford not to. In closing, together, schools, families, and communities can unlock every student's potential through partnership, shared leadership, and unwavering commitment, equal equity. I look forward to continuing this important conversation with all of you, and thank you for your attention, and please share your feedback and suggestions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Celia, for addressing this interesting topic.
I would love to hear from Dr. Sanjay about collaborations.
Yeah, as I said before, thank you very, very much, of course, to organizers, because you put these two great lectures together. And as you said before, respectful colleague, we are so close together in this scientific but also practice-based thinking. So the presentation is great because you emphasize this parental involvement actually in educational process, and definitely it should have the main part, the main place. I just wanted to, maybe for the conversation, and because you made me think about this, we have the problem in Croatia regarding parental involvement because they think they know the best. I know if it is the problem in your part of your living, but here the authority of the teachers is lowering down, unfortunately, and parents stepping up within these competencies that actually do not have. So we are actually now in the phase in the whole country to try to find the balance to enforce this parental involvement and to include them in educational process, but also to make clear, I don't know how to say, distinction between the competencies of teachers and of course, the competencies of parents, because parents are very, very much heterogenic regarding their education and employment, etc. And teachers are those who know how to teach children and how to implement pedagogical and psychological competencies with them. So we are actually in this I don't know how, but I think you understand my point.
Yeah,
So, what is
definitely.
the
Yeah.
situation in your country? What is your experience, and what is your thinking about this?
Yeah, so I went around talking to almost 500, 600 parents around here in the United States and talking about how much interest you have in getting involved in the school administration, decision making. And then most of them, unfortunately, they said, "Oh, no, we are busy with work, we are busy, we don't have transport, we have children, no people to take care of our children." So now what my finding was, my conclusion was that rather than enforcing parents to come to school to get involved in the school activities, the school should, I finally told my principal of my school principal, that let us allocate time for our teachers to go to their houses, and then when, of course, with the resources if available, and then let's educate them, and or we call them to the public libraries, and where we can educate those parents slowly but steadily, and then they can come out of the cage and then get involved in this. So all in all, what I'm trying to say, without the parent involvement, the child cannot learn. The child can only be guided by parents at home, and plus the stakeholders and communities. So that's what I strongly advise. We need to have a collaborative education policy and leadership to bring more
Yes.
parents involved.
Mhm.
Thank you, Dr. Sanja. Thank you for your
Thank you very much for your openness and your will to join us in your time zone. Yeah,
and
thank you very much
all
for
other
the
participants.
presentation. Yeah, it's very much interesting. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Well,
So next we're going to hear from Dr. Nur Alacan from Turkey, and the topic of his speech is the influence of nutrition education on preschool children. Hello and welcome.
Hi, thank you for the introduction. Hi everyone, my name is Nur Alacan. I'm an assistant professor in Early Childhood Education Department at 19 Mayıs University in Turkey. Today I will present a different topic. It is about nutrition. It is a part of my research. First, I will try to share my slide. My research is about the influence of nutrition education on preschool children. Actually, obesity is one of the common health concerns around the world and in the Turkey right now. And therefore, I focus on an experimental study in this research to give a nutrition education to preschool children. During the presentation, I will give a brief introduction. I will briefly explain my method, results, and I will discuss some basic points. And finally, I will give a brief conclusion. Children can be improved with such activity-based education. However, findings are bounded with the participant setting in this study. Therefore, increasing sample size, including children from different socioeconomic status, might contribute to generalization of findings. In future studies, also children's detailed demographic information might also be collected and interpreted together with the findings. These are my references, and thank you for your listening. If you have any question, I will be happy to reply, or you can email me anytime. Thank you.
thank you, Professor Noor, and first of all, thank you so much for taking this topic of nutrition education programs. Now, I mean, it's not only in Turkey. It's not the issue in Turkey alone, and all over the world there is a problem. There is a challenges for children becoming obese, and because of a lack of knowledge in the what to eat and what not to eat. Now, I have a question. I do face these issues in my schools in the United States too. So my question is that do the government organization in Turkey particularly, or Department of Education, or some health organization, do they regulate the school food, what children can eat, and do they give you guidance as to what children should be fed in the school?
Thank you so much for your interest and your question, Dr. Celia. I hope I can pronounce it right, your name. Actually, it is changing in Turkey. In the past, government is providing some free food for the children in public preschool for 1 or 2 years. However, right now, there is not such a support right now, economic support. And in public preschools, generally, it is changing. Situation is changing, and there is not a strict guideline or I think it is really important point. It is important to provide some nutritional guidelines for the children because each school has different opportunities. Like in your presentation, families, their socioeconomic status is really different, and it is affecting children's nutrition actually. And therefore, nutrition menus are changing from school to school, region to region in Turkey. Unfortunately, there is not such a guideline from our government, but I know that in the schools they are preparing their food list or menus by getting guidance from some dietitians or some other places. But this is not a guideline from our government. It is related to that school actually. And in some of the schools, for these foods, they are getting money from the parents for each month. And for some of the schools, they recuse these foods from their families. Like they want from families to prepare some lunch for their children and send to school. And this also creates some problems for the children because they can bring different foods, and they cannot maybe prepare healthy foods for or balanced nutrition for each of them. Therefore, there is not, unfortunately, guideline, but especially in the last year, obesity is really increasing in Turkey, and therefore there are a lot of regulations in schools, canteen, or other places. I hope there will be regulation about it too, but it is important. Thank you for your comment.
I'm sure your research will play an important role in the school or in other places, and they will take some pages from your research and then they change the nutritious education. Thank you for doing that research. Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so
Great,
much.
good job.
Okay, thanks to everyone. So we're going to invite our next speaker, Anastasia Stavron from Austria. And the topic of his speech is computational thinking and artistic engagement through tinkering, a case study in first grade of primary school. Hello and welcome.
All right, so good day, and thank you so much for the opportunity to present here. My name is Anastasia. I'm a teacher educator at the University College for Teacher Education in Vienna and the Vienna University of Technology, the TUW Vienna. And today I'm going to talk about my research in the field of STEAM education. The presentation is entitled Bridging Art and Logic, Aesthetic Artistic Engagement and Computational Thinking in Primary STEAM Education, which brings me to the next slide. It's game boards or other game elements. And finally, it shows how the STEAM framework I presented led to the joint fostering of skills in computational thinking and artistic aesthetic engagement, which are seemingly separate and difficult to combine. Thank you so much for your attention. I'm looking forward to your questions.
Any question or comment?
Thank you, Professor Anastasia. Do you think all the methodologies or the way that in which you teach students, especially the STEM education, can be enhanced or improved through using AI technology? And how much do you allow students to manipulate their work using, nowadays everything, you press the button and everything comes up and they don't need to struggle, right? And it has an advantage and disadvantage. So what is your take on using AI technology in STEM education?
Right, thank you so much. That's a very interesting question. I will try to keep it short. I do use artificial intelligence even in first grade with 6 to 7 year olds. We also have a research project with kindergarten children where we use artificial intelligence. And I think how I see it is that we use it as a tool as any other tool. So I just talked about different techniques in arts education, for example, gluing, cutting, collaging, drawing, enlarging, etc. So AI is a digital tool and we use it, not, of course, not on everyday basis, but in different learning learning scenarios. What I realized is that there are certain challenges. So the very small children in primary school or kindergarten, they, of course, most of them are still learning how to write. So writing a prompt, for example, is something that is challenging in that case. And this is where we try to develop techniques and, just quality-based education in teacher education. However, I think that's my personal opinion that we as grown-ups are kind of more fascinated than small children do. I don't know how it is in secondary, lower school, etc. I focus on the small children aged 6 to 10. So I realized that a lot of children, they soon lose interest, and I think this is also because of their development. The smaller the children, the more hands-on activities, the more immediate experiences they actually need. And in my classroom, whenever I go and use AI, as I said, it is regarded as a tool, but it's maybe not what we expect, that the children are full of fascination and appreciation. And I think this is, as I said, linked to their cognitive development as well. So it is very important to use it, but maybe not, to keep it in a balance with the immediate experiences and the hands-on approach. Yes.
Okay, so we're going to ask Dr. Lara Morwartian from Spain to come and join us to deliver a speech about from early warning signs to institutional action, an innovative teaching method to address gender-related violence in universities. Hello and welcome. Yes, it's visible. The floor is all yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I'm going to present a study that an intervention at universities that we conducted in 2024. We did this in 4 universities, Honduras, and 3 universities in Spain.